Hey everybody, I'm back and ready to continue the saga of my Star Wars sequel trilogy. If you haven't seen the first one, or the videos from Belated Media that inspired me, you can go find the links in the description. Here we go, Star Wars Episode 8, The Brink of Darkness. We open on our first sight of a Yuuzhan Vong capital ship, a whole fleet of them. They're besieging Tome, a colony on a barren rocky world. Tome was set up to mine all the resources available on the planet, and has since grown to become a very large and prosperous place, all enclosed in artificial environment domes and underground facilities. The war has been going on for a couple years now, and Tome is the Vong's latest target. The New Republic is strained. Resources are spread thin and people are hard to come by, including Jedi Knights, who are constantly being called away to fight. Jimu's training has been considerably disrupted as a result. The New Republic cannot hold Tome and has ordered its evacuation. The only ships the Republic can spare are ferrying people out of the system amid hostile forces. Jimu, Ben, and Jaina are there to assist in the evacuation and shore up the defenses if need be. Jimu looks on sadly while talking with Ben. It's his homeworld, and his parents are still there. Ben asks if he wants to take some time off to say hello to them, but he declines. He feels too busy with the evacuation, and he's sure they're occupied helping out anyway. He'll catch up with them after they finish. A new Vong ship arrives, carrying the Brain, a highly advanced Vong device. Jimu feels a single writhing dark presence. The fleet launches another salvo on Tome's shields, analyzing the energy dispersion to overwhelm them sooner than expected. Life support systems like the artificial atmosphere are still in place, for now. The Jedi and the Republic army rush people to the underground levels, and the Vong send in drop pods. The two sides battle for control of the remaining turrets, the tunnel access points, and the environmental controls. A turret operator asks over the comm how they're pulling off this level of coordination. As the fighting progresses, pieces of the artificial blue sky are destroyed by enemy fire or dropships to reveal the black sky, light into darkness. Jimu and Jaina lead a group to an underground hangar, while Ben fights Yuuzhan Vong and creatively uses the environmental controls to take out as many as he can, while there's no one left on the surface. Jaina and Jim take their ship, the Sagittarius Star, to escort the last ship of people and pick up Ben. But Ben is captured, and the evacuation ship is destroyed, with Jimu's parents on board. The Star heads back to the capital planet of Coruscant. On Coruscant, the Republic and Jedi regroup. Jedi Grandmaster Niago, that's the actress's name, not the character, asks the two if they want a leave of absence, the Jedi leader spending all her time at the capital and not at the Jedi Temple on Yavin 4, and both decline. Jaina meets with her mother and father. Han has been made the Republic's top general, both clearly stressed by the war and their own personal loss. Here we really see the toll the war has taken on the New Republic after all those years spent rebuilding from the days of the Empire. The next night, Jimu is unable to sleep. Instead, he channels the Force, moving things around in his room before detecting an enemy presence in the Chancellor's residence. A figure breaks in and takes out the guards. The figure enters Han's room when Jimu interrupts it and says that Leia isn't there. The figure replies, "Not my concern," and reveals themselves as a Mandalorian, clad in red armor. Han starts firing at the assailant with his hidden blaster, and Jimu also starts fighting as Jaina and Chewbacca walk in. They get Han to safety as Jimu appears to force the bounty hunter out of the room. The two keep fighting, Jimu very aggressively and the other holding back. Chewie roars and Jaina runs towards them to stop the fight. The Mandalorian is a double agent for the Republic, and Jimu interfered in a staged assassination attempt. Inside, the Mandalorian says their name is Island Fett. Jimu comments that it sounds like a girl's name, and Island sarcastically wonders why that could possibly be as she takes off her helmet to reveal that she's a woman. She is to be debriefed by Han Solo, but she refuses, saying, "I was paid to help you, not to like you." See, Island is somewhere in her early 30s. Her father, Boba Fett, died before she was born, so her father, this legendary bounty hunter, is someone she always looked up to, but never knew. We take a break from the capital and go to an underground Yuuzhan Vong base. Ben wakes up captive and restrained by a highly influential Yuuzhan Vong bioengineer, the Shaper. This is sort of going off a plot line from the expanded universe, by the way. The Shaper wants to unlock the power of the Force, because Darth Sidious isn't sharing, and is also looking into more effective methods of assimilation. But the Emperor doesn't know Ben Solo is there. The Shaper is kind of like the Borg Queen, but a bit more nuanced. Meanwhile, the Jedi Grandmaster continues to teach Jimu the ways of the Force, but it's not going very well. He has talent, a huge amount of potential, but lacks control. Every time he reaches out with the Force, he can't help but see Tome again, his parents, and the Vong. He can almost feel a presence, that same dark, writhing presence, coming to get him through the Force, an ever-increasing threat. Jaina, already a full knight, tries to help him as she deals with the loss of her brother, and helping the Jedi Republic war preparations. Jimu finds Island in the hangar, working on her ship, the Delta Prime. He strikes up a conversation with her. It begins uncomfortable for both of them, given their earlier fight, but they grow on each other. He asks her about her work as a bounty hunter, and any skeletons in her closet. He's trying to figure out how to deal with his. She tells him about contracts she's taken, things she's done. She figures out that he's having some trouble with fear and anger, something she can relate to, working for the man who killed her father. The two bond, and Jimu has someone who's more neutrally aligned than his other friends. Jaina and Grandmaster Nyong'o are meeting with Chancellor Leia. They discuss the rapid progress of the Yuuzhan Vong and their startling efficiency in battle. Their fleets have an almost unimaginable level of coordination, such as when they precisely calculated how to overwhelm Tome's shields, and their armies aren't far behind. Jaina says that Jimu has been feeling a central presence among the Vong armadas, a central brain. That's the Vong's secret weapon. Grandmaster Nyong'o begins giving Jimu more intensive meditation lessons so he can precisely locate the brain in future battles. She's also learning the ancient art of battle meditation, something that will dramatically increase the Republic's combat prowess. She's able to reach out and embrace the Force. He is not. Anger and fear continue to envelop him, before giving way to a void of despair and sadness inside him. He has learned something from this experience, but is nonetheless shaken. Meanwhile, a partially assimilated Ben escapes and makes a break for it. He makes it to the surface above the enemy's stronghold, only to find that he is still on Tome, horrified at how altered it has become, an allusion to his own forced transformation. A gargantuan Vong armada is mobilizing above. The Shaper promises that the Yuuzhan Vong will purify the galaxy, as Ben surrenders in despair and is knocked out. Island leaves to meet with her Vong confidant on Coruscant, with Leia, Han, Chewie, and Jimu watching through a helmet camera. The contact disguises himself as a droid, partially revealing himself now. Island defends her record after her, quote-unquote, failed assassination. She manages to get a variety of information out of him. The contact, Nam Honor, a major Vong spy from the novels, tells her to stand by for directions to cripple the Republic fleet like a parasite, promising to provide the specifics later. They part ways. Jaina rushes in, having felt her brother through the Force, suspecting he was still alive all along. Between what she knows from her brother and the conversation, reviewing the transcript, she thinks Coruscant itself is the target. Island shares her suspicions, and Chewbacca roars that it makes tactical sense. They convene an emergency council to prepare for what could be the New Republic's end. Everything goes into overdrive. Any spare resources are mobilized and deployed to defend Coruscant. Nyong'o fears Jimu is not ready, but realizes that they have no other options and asks Jaina to protect him from himself. Many old notables are called out of retirement or from other duties to help, including Wedge Antilles, Lando Calrissian, and Admiral Gail Akbar. Ion assigns herself to Jimu's mission, where Nam Honor would want her. The Yuuzhan Vong fleet, larger than the one at the Battle of Tome, enters the Coruscant system, with the New Republic military standing by. The Emperor speaks to the ships, demanding they surrender or face a massacre greater than Alderaan. A massive space battle breaks out. Vong forces begin to reach the planet, where ground fighting begins. Grandmaster Nyong'o uses her battle meditation, but soon finds her position, the Jedi Sanctuary on Coruscant, under attack by an army of Vong warriors. She fights them, supported by Republic soldiers, all while continuing to meditate and support the entire planet's defense. It is the culmination of all her training since she was a Padawan under Luke Skywalker. Above, the upgraded Millennium Falcon is making daring strike after daring strike against the invading fleet. Squadrons and soon several large ships are sent to destroy it. The Falcon leads them through the planet's cityscape all the way up to one of the planet's moons, gathering a larger and larger tail of pursuers into an auxiliary Republic fleet. Cut to Admiral Akbar and Han Solo in the main war room as Akbar smiles and says, "It's a trap." The hidden fleet obliterates the pursuers and moves to surround the invading force. Still, the battle is slowly tilting towards the Yuuzhan Vong, as Republican forces are just not efficient enough, and the mysterious brain adjusts to its adversaries and the battle scale. Amid all this, Jaina and Jimmu on board the Sagittarius Star and Fett on board the Delta Prime are trying to find which ship contains the central brain. They identify it and fight their way on board and through the ship. Facing the Vong again face to face though, Jimmu's anger and pain pushes him dangerously close to the dark side. He even causes a section of the ship to undergo necrosis, prompting Jaina to give him a serious lecture and warning. They enter the brain's chamber, only to find Ben, transformed. The heroes, especially his sister Jaina, confront him. During this exchange, we learn more about the Vong and their values, like glory and reverence to the gods, who are actually Sith Lords, and that the planet Zanama II is sentient, speaking to them through Ben. They fight, Ben taking advantage of his modifications. Jaina and Ben clash, but Jimmu soon takes the lead. Their fight is furious, each one relying more and more on the dark side. Jimmu is about to kill Ben when Luke tells him not to surrender to his fear, then tells Ben to remember who he is. It's just a voice, but seeing his friend in front of him, each of them ready to kill the other, helps stop Jimmu's fall. After further pleading with Ben, he begins signaling at a particular node. Island takes the hint and shoots it with a missile. Ben is temporarily severed from Zanama II, giving him some privacy. Ben then uses his influence over the Yuuzhan Vong to sabotage their attack. However, he elects to stay behind to spy, giving Jaina a large quantity of intelligence and a device that allows the two to communicate through the Force. The two hug and simultaneously say, "May the Force be with you." The gang, minus Ben of course, escapes, and the remainder of the invasion force retreats. The battle is won, and the tide is turned. Jaina vows to free her brother from his fate, one way or another. After the battle, Island talks to Han and forgives him for his role in her father's death. She understands the nature of his job. And besides, Han was just blindly waving around a vibroaxe. There's no way he can take credit for taking down the greatest bounty hunter in the galaxy. Jimmu is given the option by Leia and Grandmaster Nyong'o of joining in the liberation of Tome, but he declines. He doesn't need that closure anymore. He's already made peace with his parents' death, but does ask for that leave of absence. He wants to get to the bottom of what the Yuuzhan Vong are, and Endeavor Jaina agrees to join him in. Island Fett says she'll have their backs. So those are my ideas for episode 8. Be sure to like and subscribe for more videos and the finale of my version of the sequel trilogy. Until then, may the Force be with you.